Welcome to the Hope Natural Health Podcast. I'm Dr. Erin Ellis, your host. On this show, we discuss all things health, hormones, and happiness with a little side of this thing called life. Today, I want to challenge a phrase we hear way too often. That's normal. Maybe you've gone to your doctor because you're exhausted every single day, you struggle with bloating or dealing with mood swings, have crappy periods, only to hear that's just part of getting older. Or maybe your labs are normal, nothing's wrong. Periods are supposed to be painful. Does any of that sound familiar? If so, you're really not alone. But here's the thing, just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal. So today I'm going to break that down. I'm going to share the difference between normal and optimal health, what happens when we ignore our body's signals, and how you can start shifting from getting by to actually thriving. So first, let's think about the last time you had a symptom you ignored because you assumed it was just part of life. Maybe it was waking up exhausted every morning. Maybe it was struggling to focus at work or in school, or maybe the feeling of bloating after eating. The problem with calling things normal is that first, let's talk about the definition of common. It happens a lot, but it's not necessarily healthy. And normal is a state of balance and optimal function. So in this example, let's talk about painful periods. So many women experience debilitating cramps, headaches, and mood swings before their cycle. This is actually common, but it's not normal. So here's a quick story. I had a patient, let's call her Sarah. She came to me saying she felt drained all the time, had horrible PMS, and couldn't lose weight no matter what she tried. She had been told for years that this was just part of being a woman. But within a few months of supporting her hormones and fixing underlying imbalances, she was a whole new person. Pain-free cycles, energy back, and actually enjoying her body again. This is why we have to stop normalizing suffering. So I want you to think of one symptom you've accepted as just how things are and ask yourself, what if this wasn't actually normal? What if this was a signal from your body asking for help? So your symptoms that you're experiencing are signals, not inconveniences. Think of your body like a car. If your check engine light comes on, would you just put a sticker over it? No. You'd want to get to the root of the issue. You take it to the mechanic and you get it fixed. The same goes for your health. So here are some common symptoms that get dismissed and what they could mean. Fatigue. It could be your thyroid. It could be your adrenal burnout. It could be nutrient deficiencies. Bloating. It could be gut imbalances, food sensitivities, stress. Low libido or sex drive. It could be hormone imbalances, blood sugar swings. Maybe it's stress overload. Mood swings. It could be blood sugar imbalance, inflammation, neurotransmitter deficiencies. You can see how all these symptoms could be something bigger, but yet there's always a root cause. Here's another example. I had another patient, let's call her Jessica. She had been struggling with brain fog and exhaustion for years. Her doctor ran standard labs and told her she was fine, but when we did deeper testing, we found out she had undiagnosed thyroid dysfunction and nutrient deficiencies. Within a few months of targeted support, she finally felt like herself again. So, how many times have you been brushed off symptoms because a doctor said your labs were normal or fine? Make sure you reply here or send me a message on Instagram and let me know. I'd love to hear your story. So, let's move now from normal to optimal. And what does optimal health actually look like? It looks like waking up refreshed instead of hitting snooze 5 times. It looks like having stable moods instead of feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster. It looks like going through your day energized without relying on caffeine. It looks like a pain-free cycle. Yes, that is possible. So here are some simple, actionable steps that you can start today. First, track your symptoms. The more data we have, the better. Keep a journal for a month and notice any significant patterns. This is really going to help us pinpoint what's going on. Support your gut. Your gut is everything when it comes to hormone balance, energy, and mood. Try incorporating more fiber, more fermented foods, and cut out the crap, the processed junk, just for a couple weeks and see how you feel. Work on balancing your blood sugar. If you're constantly crashing and craving sugar, start your day or even just your meal in general with protein and healthy fats instead of carbs. Don't rush through that drive-thru for that sugar bomb at that Starbucks or Dutch Brothers. Let's have some protein and healthy fats. And you can still have that coffee, but make sure you incorporate the protein and the healthy fats. Work on reducing hidden stressors. So let's prioritize sleep. Work on removing toxins from our skincare, making sure that we don't skip meals, because all of these things, poor sleep, toxic skincare, skipping meals, they add up and they contribute to stressors in our lives. And speak up for yourself. Start advocating for yourself. If you feel dismissed by a doctor, don't be afraid to get a second opinion or seek out a practitioner who looks at the root causes. So your challenge for this week is to choose one small change from this list and commit to it. Write it down, tell a friend. You can even DM me and tell me what you're trying. I love hearing from you all. So here's a couple questions that I asked my Instagram community, and here are a couple that stood out that I wanted to share with you. A question was, my doctor told me my labs are normal, but I still feel awful. What should I do? My response was, this is so common. Standard labs have broad reference ranges that don't always reflect optimal health. These are the normal ranges. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be normal. I want to be optimal. So functional testing and working with a naturopathic doctor can help dig deeper. Another question was, are period cramps ever normal? The answer is mild discomfort can happen and is normal, but debilitating pain is not normal. It's often linked to inflammation, estrogen dominance, or even nutrient deficiencies. So diet, lifestyle, and targeted support can make a huge difference. So let's wrap this up with some key takeaways. Your symptoms are real. They have a root cause. You don't have to accept feeling meh as normal. And small changes lead to big transformations with your health over time. So again, what do I do next, Dr. Erin? Well, write down one symptom you've been ignoring. Make one small shift this week, whether it's adding more protein, reducing sugar, or just tracking your symptoms. And if you're ready for deeper support, check out my website, find me on Instagram, or you can book a discovery call with me. So if this episode resonated with you, please hit share with a friend who needs to hear this. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on YouTube so you don't miss future episodes. We'd love a review as well. And I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. I'll see you again next time. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And if you haven't done so, please be sure to give us a rating on your favorite podcast platform. Join us weekly as we inspire you to be your best version. For more, follow me on Instagram at dr.erinellis. Until next week, you got this.